The Radical Revolution: How Black Women Entrepreneurs Are Building Ecosystems, Not Just Businesses. I want to start today by acknowledging the extraordinary woman whose insights form the foundation of this talk. Lakeithia Harris, founder of Labor of Love. In a world obsessed with individual achievement, Lakeithia stands as a revolutionary force, redefining what entrepreneurship can and should be. Her gift bag business for expectant mothers does more than deliver products. It delivers dignity, recognition, and support to women at their most vulnerable moments. But what makes Lakeithia truly remarkable isn't just her business acumen, it's her vision of entrepreneurship as a vehicle for collective liberation. She embodies a truth that true power doesn't come from climbing alone, but from building elevators that lift entire communities. This conversation with Lakeithia transformed my understanding of Black women's entrepreneurship in ways I never expected. And that's what I want to share with you today. We've all heard the narrative, haven't we? The inspiring stories of Black women overcoming impossible odds to build successful businesses, the celebration of their exceptional grit and remarkable resilience. These stories are true, they matter, but they're incomplete. Because here's the surprising truth: the real revolution isn't happening through individual success stories. The game changer, the truly disruptive force, is how Black women entrepreneurs are collectively building ecosystems that transform entire communities. Let that sink in for a moment. While the mainstream narrative celebrates the exceptional individual, something far more radical is happening beneath the surface. Black women entrepreneurs are rejecting the lone genius myth of success and instead creating interconnected networks of support, access, and opportunity that challenge the very foundations of how we think about business and success. The data tells a striking story. Black women now drive an astonishing 89% of net new women owned firms daily. Yet simultaneously, they face persistent funding gaps and significantly higher denial rates for business loans compared to their counterparts. When they do receive funding, Black women get only 45% of requested loan amounts, compared to 55% for men. In the face of this contradiction, Black women entrepreneurs have made a revolutionary choice. Rather than competing in a broken system, they are creating new systems altogether. Systems built on collaboration rather than competition, on community rather than isolation, on collective advancement rather than individual achievement. As Laketia powerfully articulated, true acceleration comes not from going it alone, but from creating networks and infrastructures that make access, whether to capital, mentorship, or markets, a shared resource rather than an individual struggle. This isn't just nice rhetoric, it's a fundamentally different approach to business that challenges everything we think we know about entrepreneurship, success, and power. Consider the journey of Richelieu Dennis, founder of Shea Moisture. When Dennis launched his company in 1992 in Harlem, he faced all the barriers you might expect for a Black entrepreneur selling personal care products inspired by his grandmother's traditions from Sierra Leone. Traditional retail channels were closed to him. Mainstream marketing platforms were inaccessible. Capital was scarce. But instead of trying to break into existing systems, Dennis created new ones. He started selling products on street corners. He built grassroots marketing networks within Black communities. And most radically, he reinvested profits into supporting entrepreneurship among women of color. The result wasn't just a successful company, though Shea Moisture certainly became that, eventually being acquired by Unilever with commitments toward investing $100 million dollars in minority entrepreneurs. The result was an entirely new ecosystem that created pathways for countless other entrepreneurs. Dennis didn't just build a business, he built infrastructure for collective advancement. Or consider Morgan DeBon, who founded Blavity Inc. after leaving her Silicon Valley job, where she confronted the painful reality of being chronically underrepresented. DeBon could have simply created a digital platform and called it a day. Instead, she built something far more revolutionary, a comprehensive ecosystem for Black millennials that includes media platforms, large scale events, connecting entrepreneurs with investors, and intentional hiring practices that prioritize diverse talent at every level. Today, Blavity stands as one of the largest global platforms amplifying multicultural voices across tech, business, and media sectors. But its true impact goes far beyond its impressive metrics. By creating infrastructure for connection, capital, and visibility, DeBon has fundamentally altered the landscape for Black entrepreneurs in tech. And then there's Lakeithia's own journey with Labor of Love, witnessing the gaps in care and emotional recognition provided to new mothers, especially those from marginalized communities. Lakeithia could have simply created a product line and marketed it through traditional channels. Instead, she built direct partnerships with hospitals, NICU departments, and WIC offices, creating an alternative distribution system that bypasses traditional retail barriers. She used storytelling and community testimonials to build credibility. And she designed her business model to ensure that mothers who most needed recognition and support could receive it, regardless of their economic status. The result has been not just business success, but the creation of environments where maternal wellness and support become standard practice, particularly for those who have been historically overlooked. What these stories reveal is nothing short of revolutionary. These entrepreneurs aren't just building businesses, they're building alternative economic systems. They're not just creating products, they're creating pathways. They're not just generating profit, they're generating possibility. This approach represents a fundamental challenge to traditional capitalism, which centers individual achievement and competition. Instead, these Black women entrepreneurs are pioneering what I call community centered capitalism, a model where business success is measured not just by profit margins, but by how effectively it creates access, opportunity, and support for others. As Lakeithia powerfully articulated, the old model told us to climb the ladder and pull it up behind us. Our motto says climb the ladder, secure it firmly in place, and then reach back to guide others up, or better yet, build an elevator. This isn't just a nice sentiment, it's a radical reimagining of power. In a world that has systematically denied Black women access to traditional forms of power, they have responded by creating new forms altogether. Forms of power that are distributed rather than concentrated, collaborative rather than competitive, generative rather than extractive. Despite facing higher barriers and funding approval, Black women entrepreneurs have managed remarkable revenue growth, a 32.7% increase since 2019. This demonstrates an extraordinary ability to transform obstacles into opportunities. As Lakeithia puts it, we've learned to make magic with minimal resources because we've had to. But imagine what might be possible if these entrepreneurs had equal access to capital, markets, and support. Imagine the ecosystems they might build. Imagine the communities they might transform. This is why representation matters at every stage, from startup founding through leadership. When more Black women lead businesses or sit at investment tables, they don't just succeed individually. They fundamentally reshape industries with fresh perspectives on innovation, service delivery, and the very purpose of business itself. The implications of this approach extend far beyond business. They offer a blueprint for how we might address some of our most pressing social challenges. In a world fragmented by individualism, these community ecosystems demonstrate the power of connection. In an economy marked by extraction, they model regeneration. In a culture that celebrates competition, they prove the effectiveness of collaboration. So, where do we go from here? How do we support and amplify this revolutionary approach? It starts with recognizing these ecosystem builders for what they are, not just successful entrepreneurs, but architects of a new economic paradigm. It continues with directing capital, resources, and attention not just to individual businesses, but to the community infrastructures they're creating. And it requires all of us to rethink our own definitions of success and power. The question Lakeithia left me with, and the one I'll leave you with today, cuts to the heart of this revolution. How will you use your unique gifts, not just to build your own legacy, but to create pathways so others coming behind you have fewer hurdles than those before? This question demands that we see ourselves not as isolated individuals in competition for scarce resources, but as interconnected nodes in ecosystems with the power to generate abundance. It challenges us to measure our success not by how high we climb, but by how many we lift. I believe we stand at a crossroads. We can continue to celebrate individual success stories while ignoring the systems that make success accessible to only a few. Or we can embrace this revolutionary model that Black women entrepreneurs are pioneering, one that builds ecosystems, not just businesses, that measures impact in generations, not quarters, that defines success by how many thrive, not just by who survives. The choice is ours, but the blueprint already exists. It's being written every day by women like Lakeithia Harris, who understand that true power lies not in what we build for ourselves, but in what we build for each other. Thank you.